So the main purpose of today's video is to show you that you can grow some nice, massive onions in a wicking tub. I've done this 2 or 3 years. I'm ashamed to say I have let them grow up and get very grassy. So we're gonna have to pull them up through the grass. We've just had so much rain lately, and I was waiting for the onions to play out. Well, they played out a good while ago, or at least these did. It's just early. That's when you know the onion is done, is when the tops fall over. I've got some on the other end over here, we'll see in a minute, some red onions that haven't quite fallen over yet. So the first tubs are these Vidalia type onions, 2 different brands from Haas. But I just want to show you some of these really beautiful onions. That is the size of a softball. Beautiful. That one's not quite as big. That one is probably bigger than the first one. I mean, that's a massive onion. That is a weed. We will get rid of it. You hate to lose any dirt in these wicking tubs because that dirt's so dang expensive. But let me just pull on these. Instead of setting up a camera and showing you a bunch of stuff, I'll just show you after I get it done and show you what I get out of just this one wicking tub. Now, I planted it thick, and we have eaten what we call green onions. You know, when they start bulbing, or even before they start bulbing, we've eaten a bunch of those out of each one of these wicking tubs, and strategically picked some of the smaller ones throughout the growing season. And picked a few, you know, around where the big ones are. We wanted to let some of the big ones get this big, so we wound up pulling a lot of those smaller onions throughout the growing season, and just to get the onions surrounding them out, so the bigger onions would get a chance to get that big, which they did. So this is a great example of how well onions can do in wicking tubs. You know, you can't grow a bunch, maybe a dozen big onions in wicking tubs. We probably put 30 or 40 in here and just have pulled as the year goes on. So let me pull these. So that's how many onions I got out of this this first wicking tub. I've shown you the really big ones, and I mean those are nice, 5 inches across probably or more. Really nice ones. And then we got some that are baseball size, and some even a little smaller than that, but grown up too terribly. I shouldn't have let it grow up so bad. But got it ready now for okra. I've never grown okra in a wicking tub before, so this will be an experiment. So all in all, not bad. Probably got an average of 15 nice onions, not necessarily big onions, but nice onions in every tub, 15 to 20. Down there I've got some smaller ones, but there's probably 20, maybe 20, 15, but some of these are huge in this one. And there's 3 different kinds. Well, actually there's 2 different kinds of these yellow onions. Then on the end, let me take you down here and show you these red ones. These are some red onions I got at Haas. They didn't take hold as well as the yellow onions did. In fact, I planted this pretty thick, and it's probably got 8 or 10 in it. But man, they are monsters. And they haven't fallen over yet, officially. They've fallen over, but they haven't gone kind of dead looking, where I'm just not sure they're through yet, so I'm gonna leave those. But some of them are, I mean, that's a big onion. That's 4.5 inches across. And they're probably bigger than that. Some really nice onions. Now this one has a lot more growth in it, more vegetation, grass and stuff in it. And I'm just not going to pull the grass out because I'll disturb whatever's grow. If it's continuing to grow, if it's still growing, I'll just disturb it and I ain't gonna mess with it. So I've got these tubs ready to plant in okra. I'll plant those. But all in all, really not bad. If you don't want to grow, now if you need to grow a bunch of onions, then growing them in wicking tub is not the way to go. But if you just want to grow some for you and you and your missus or yourself or whatever, count on 10 to 15 really nice onions in a wicking tub. And if you don't plant so thick like I did, you could probably get 10 or 15 big onions. Like I say, I probably had 30 to 40 onions in there, and just pulled, a few over the last few months as we needed to eat them for the table. But it's it's a great way to grow onions. You've got that water source with that wicking in the bottom of it, that wicking reservoir, water reservoir that wicks up. So it's a good water source. The fact that they're wicking tubs, a big round thing, when it rains, it does, you know, it rains in it. And so even if you're not watering, like during the winter, if you've got a decent amount of rain in the winter, you probably won't have to water. It'll catch so much of the rain. But anyway, it's a good way to grow onions if you're not just growing, you know, for the market or something. If you're growing for the market, you need to grow in the dirt and you need to put a bunch of them in there. But this is a real good way to do it, and just pleased. Third, I think, year I've done it, done onions in wicking tubs, and I've always been pleased with it. I believe I'm just going to leave them here on this landscape cloth and let them dry, and just stay out here with the rest of my veggies and just enjoy themselves. But you know, best practice is to put them somewhere where it's not going to get wet and not getting it rained on. And also best practice is to spread them out where they're not touching. So, or at least not stacked on top of each other. So anyway, I'm real pleased with it. We've got more onions than we're going to need. And our daughters will get a few, and some friends will get a few probably. Good way to grow onions if you don't want to grow just a ton of onions is in wicking tubs. I've never grown them in earth boxes. I think that's just a waste of space. I don't think it's a good use of a $40 earth box. So if you like what you see, give it a like, and let me know what your onions have done if you've already pulled your onions. I'm interested if, because mine are just early, or it seems like to me. Now, I did plant in December. I don't normally plant in December. I think I planted in about the middle of December. And that's one reason, I guess. They just live their lifespan. But usually it's around here, it's the first of June, end of May, 1st of June. So these are about 2 weeks early, really earlier than that, because these tops have been falling over for a long time. I mean, for a couple of weeks now. I've just been putting off pulling them because I thought it was too dang early. But it ain't now. So they're done, they're up. Grow you some onions, whether you grow them in wicking tubs or something else. Make sure you grow you some onions. They are good stuff, good stuff. Again, these are from Haas, and I've got links below to my Haas associate link, and get you some, it's too late for onions, but get you some other stuff if you need it. And certainly next year, about October, November, get you some onion sets from them. The onion sets from them looked absolutely great. I mean, it's better than I've ever seen at the store, at the feed store. Better than I've seen in years and years at the feed store, let's put it that way. So really nice onions, onion sets, and they grew some really, really nice onions. That's a big onion. So grow you some onions. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know how it's doing for you. And we're gone.